Page 17, Arietta in C major. Well, it's in C major, no sharps or flats then. 2/4 time again. Let's just cover it, make sure we got the notes and the rhythms. Right hand first, you're starting here. So it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and. I don't see anything complicated about that. Let's go down to the third line. I'll measure 13. Let's do that line. It's a little bit different here because we have an A in measure 14. We have to allow for that. How do we do that? Well, there's different ways we can do it, and I'll show you both. Well, there are more than two, but I'll show you two of them. So you start out with the fingering in the book is this way. 1 and 2, and it's 5 and then 4. 1 and 2 and 3, and then 3, 2, 3, 2. Third finger on. And then thumb again for the last line, and same fingering. 5, 4. 2 and then 3. So 1 and 2 E and a, 2 E and a, 2 and 2 and. However you want to count it. Now I'll go back to measure 13 and 14 here. You can also change that rather than here, just move the hand up here and the little finger's ready. So you can do a 2/4. That works too, and sometimes you'll do one and sometimes you'll do the other depending on the music. Here you can do either one. So experiment with both, decide what you like, and stick with it. So don't keep changing the fingering back and forth, but stick with it. For the left hand, it's mostly quarter notes, a few eighth notes, but no big deal, I hope. On measure 8, you get the eighth notes. And I'm just rocking the hand back and forth, transferring weight. I'm like walking on the piano. It's like when you're transferring your weight when you walk. I'm doing the same thing with here, except I'm not putting all the weight on it. I'm controlling how much weight I'm doing it, but still it's the weight that's pushing the notes down. Thumb just keeps moving around here as it needs to. And measure 13, you gotta be flat. And again, I'll measure 17, B flat, and this time the thumb comes under. And thumb again. Put the hands together. 1 and. So forth. Let's go down to measure 9. 1, rest, rest. If it's a little tricky for you, I'm playing a little fast. You slow it down to your speed and just work out on measure 11. This. Work out those notes, okay. Now measure 13. Now this is where the fingering changes. Last line. Right there. Here to here. That's a little tricky for both hands. So you work all that out. No wrong notes, no hesitations anywhere. The beat needs to be steady. And when you can do that, then we can add the articulations, the slurs. There's nothing marked for the left hand. So I suggest if you don't know what else to do, go ahead and connect them. Different teachers, I mean, you can interpret it this different ways. Some people, if the notes are next to each other, they'll connect them. But if they're further away, they'll disconnect them. Just barely. But then when you get to the eighth notes, whether you disconnect them or connect them, it's a choice of interpreting it. Which way do you like? Experiment with both. But when you get to measure 11, you have to connect these. Tells you to. Can you connect one hand and not the other? That makes it a little more difficult. Now if it would help you, just play them all connected in the left hand. They didn't put phrasing in here, but if you listen, you can hear the musical sentences. A little bit about these slurs. Look out here. Sometimes we don't lift up before a slur, and sometimes we don't lift up after a slur. And sometimes we do. Good luck figuring all that out. But it's like here in the first line, I can lift up before and after those slurs. It's easier because it's repeated note. Here and on the second line, I can lift up before and after the first slur, and before the second slur, but I wouldn't lift up after the second slur. Connect all those 5 notes together. It's like the slur covers the quarter note too, because otherwise, and you're disconnecting the last note. Don't disconnect the last note unless that's the effect the music wanted, and I'm sure that's not the case. Then on the next line, those slurs are fine before and after, but on the last line, connect that. Don't lift up after that slur. Now you can lift up and connect the half note to the 16th notes. Don't. No. Just connect it. So that last line, lift up before, connect that, and lift up, and connect that. So you're not lifting up after those slurs, either one of them, on the last line. Here. And then again. To me, that's all one sentence. Maybe the whole first line is one sentence. I don't know. It's a personal thing. What do you think? But lift up between the sentences, just whether it's marked or not. Passages like in the first line here that are not slurred, and then slur. Well, the slurs you need to connect. But these others, you have a choice. Do you connect them or not? Well, experiment with the sound. Which do you like? So it's like at the beginning. The first measure, I can connect them. Or I can disconnect them, unless they're slurred. It kind of bounces along if you do that, and it's a happy piece anyway, so maybe that's what... So experiment, or teacher will tell you, but I think it's okay to separate all those notes in the melody that are not slurred. And then we can add the dynamics. Soft, this is for the right hand. The left hand has to be very soft. The left hand has to be background the whole time. So keep it out of the way. And measure 6, you come down a little bit. Well, you're not going to go soft to very soft, and then the next one very soft or really super duper soft. I'm really not sure what they want here. There's different ways of interpreting this. They put 2 decrescendos in the same, back to back like this. If that's the case, they could have put 1 long decrescendo there on both measures, stretch it across. And that would be, and the whole thing would be that way. But since they put 2 of them in, that kind of tells me that's not what they wanted. They wanted you to decrescendo on each one, which means you got to come up a little bit so you can go down on each one. It's implied. So on measure 5, I might crescendo up to a medium soft. Now go back down to soft. And then medium soft and back down. So it's... I don't know if that's really what they wanted or not, but there's different ways of basic... the music... You see, music notation is incomplete. It doesn't say everything. It never does. So a lot of it is left up to you as a performer. How do you feel it? How do you think it should go? Or your teacher tells you. Okay, but soft. I crescendo a little bit. Soft. I'm crescendoing a little bit through here. A little louder. Is how I'm playing these. And then soft, well, we're soft anyway. Now you get a crescendo, but only go up to about a medium soft. Don't get loud. And then last line, now you're loud. For some reason, I don't know why it's loud at the end. In my mind, it's a little out of place. I think maybe a moderately loud would be better. But they said loud, so okay, if that's what they want. Now, speed-wise, Allegretto is between Moderato and Allegro. Medium speed and fast speed. It's sort of fast speed. I call it the fun speed. And it's the flow of the piece, the feel of the piece. So it's this melody. So forth. What do you feel it? You know, I play by feel, so I would play this 10 times, I'd play it different every time, and that's sort of what I think the overall feel of it. It's got to be a fun, happy piece. You have to get to know the piece well enough. You're not thinking about notes and rhythms and fingering and all that. And you start listening to this melody. Get into the melody. And then it'll tell you don't play it fast. But get into it and start feeling the music. And you'll play it as you feel it, I hope. And that's where the magic truly happens. However, until then, I'd like to play it with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics. I'll give us 2 counts. Now let's just try it together slowly. Ready and go and 1 and.